Hello everybody and welcome to our Cashless Catering webinar. We will begin shortly. We're just going to give a couple of moments for a few other people to arrive. Hello everybody and thank you for joining me today on our SchoolMoney webinar. So we're going to take a little bit of time having a look at our Cashless Catering module. So this will help you pre-order dinners from home, pre-order dinners in the classroom, and hopefully save you a little bit of time when you're doing your dinner money management. If anybody has any questions throughout the webinar, we do have a chat section of the system. So if anybody wants to pop any questions there, then we can either have two of our assistants answering your questions throughout the webinar, or I'm happy to read out some of the questions at the end and give you all the answers. So let's begin. As everybody will see and probably recognise our EduSpot login page. So as normal, to access the system, we would just start off by clicking sign in and select SchoolMoney School Login. From there, we'd pop in our username and password, and that would log us into our system. So as mentioned earlier, today we're going to focus on managing our dinners in school. Some of you may be manually managing dinners through our dinner register, but what we're going to talk about is our module Cashless Catering Till. For £399 a year, you can have the ability to allow your parents to pre-order from a menu or your students to pre-order in a classroom to help you reduce food wastage and collate your dinner numbers in a more accurate way. So we're going to start off by looking at our Cashless Catering Till. So as you can see in the Cashless Catering Till, we've got our date in the top left-hand corner of the screen, and down the side of the screen, we have our classes. So if I select Class Blue, what I now have is every child that sits within my Class Blue. Any children that are greyed out means that our parents have logged in from home and they've pre-selected meal items from a menu. Any children that aren't greyed out are the pupils where they're either bringing a sandwich or their parents may have forgotten to log in from home and make a meal selection. So there are multiple ways of using our Cashless Catering Till. We can either use it to just give us an overview each day of what meals we've had booked, or we can also make meal selections in the classroom. So for example, let's say Paul has came in the morning and has asked to book a meal item. All we would do in school is either using an interactive whiteboard or a tablet device, we can select Paul, and then that will bring up our menu. And we'll have a little bit of a chat later about how we get our menus into the system. So to select a meal for Paul, all we do is select jacket potato and click checkout. That will grey out Paul's icon, which means he's booked a meal for the day. Once your dinner selections have been made, either from home or in the classroom, the next step would be to run our catering report. What this will do is it will tell our kitchen staff how many meals have been ordered and who has ordered these meals. So it's really simple to do. All we do is click on the catering report in the bottom right-hand corner. So this report is designed to help you reduce food wastage in school, giving you accurate numbers of what meals have been ordered and how many portions need to be made. Down the left-hand side of the screen, what we can see is today we've had orders of fish and chips, jacket potatoes, packed lunches, pie, sandwich, basically anything that you have on your menu. If I move to the right-hand side of the screen, what we can now see is our total meals. So this column here are the portions that our kitchen staff need to make. Bottom left-hand corner of the screen, if I tick Show Breakdown by Student, the system will then produce a distribution list with all the names of the pupils that have made a selection and what item is it that they've ordered. If I then click Show Dietary Requirements, any dietary information that is stored in your SchoolMoney system will actually produce on this report, meaning that your kitchen staff can see straight away if somebody's ordered a pie, that person has a peanut allergy, so we just need to make ourselves aware that we are sticking to those dietary requirements. It has become apparent recently that a lot of schools have changed the way that they're managing dinners. So they're no longer having children go through the canteen, make meal selections at the hub. It tends to be meals are now being selected either in the classroom or from home. And children tend to be eating meals in the classroom. If that is the case in your school, what this report will do is allow you to actually run a report based on your bubbles or your class groups. So at the top of this page, we've got a drop down here. We can either create your bubbles. So if you are going through the canteen, then you have easy service. So we would just select the bubble and it would tell you all the children that are in that bubble and what is their item selection. Or we can filter by class group. So if we select class blue, for example, it would produce the report of everybody in class blue and what have they ordered. So coming away from this report, what we also have is our dinner register. So some of the schools here may already be using the dinner register to manage your dinners. What you can do, if you do have the cashless catering till switched on, is make easy meal selections from your dinner register. You still have the key in the top right-hand corner of the screen where you can see who is paid, free, universal, and packed lunch. What you will also notice is there is an orange square. The orange square would actually appear around any pre-bookings that you've had from home. So any parents that have logged in and pre-booked, you would easily be able to see that from your register. If you do need to make any amendments in school, you just simply click on the day, and once again, it will produce your menu for you. From there, we would select the meal type and it would place that order, adding that selection to your catering report. You would still have your paid in advance and arrears down the right-hand side of the screen. But one of the main benefits of pre-ordering from home is that your parents pre-order and they pre-pay for meals. A lot of schools who are using this currently have fed back to us and said that that actually helps them reduce their debt. If a parent hasn't pre-ordered, as mentioned previously, you can go in and order a meal and it will allow you to actually put that child into debt. So what we can see here is we've got Andrew Darkins and he owes us £2.50. If I then go to my reports tab and scroll down, we've got our dinner arrears report. So here we can see a list of every pupil that owes for dinners and we can see their total arrears. What this would then allow us to do is simply click Chase Overdue, and any meal selections that we've had to make in school, those parents would receive a text message and an email to tell them that they owe for dinners and how much. At the bottom of this message, it would also give our parents instructions on how to log in and pay online. We simply click Send Reminders, press OK, and that message would go out to our parents. Nice and simple. What I'll also show you is the Payments tab. So some of the schools on the webinar may be thinking about how you manage menu rotations if you have different items that are available different days of the week. So that's not a problem. You can easily manage that through SchoolMoney. So all we'll do at the top is we'll filter to our dinners. What you'll now see on this page is a list of all the weeks that we've got set up in our SchoolMoney system. Where we have our status online and offline, online are the weeks that we want our parents to book for. Offline are the weeks that have either expired or we're not actually having bookings open for that week. If I double click for this week, what you'll notice at the top of the screen is you've got the option to select a catering menu. In this drop down, we've got menus 1, 2, and 3. Menu 1, 2, and 3 will actually line up with the weeks that you have on your menu. So menu 1 is week 1, menu 2 is week 2, menu 3 is week 3. So all we do in the system is we select which menu is available each week, and that will allow the parents to see those menus online. What I can now do is actually show you how your parents pre-book. So if I just click here, you will see the login page for your parents. So as you can see on the right-hand side, we have our parent guide and also our app guide. The parents can also download our app for really quick and easy way of managing payments and pre-booking meals. All the parents need to do at this point is put in their email address, mobile phone number, password, and their child's first name. It's really important that the parents are using the same information that is actually stored in your school MIS. If I click login, I'm now logged in as a parent. All I simply do is select the dinner tab on the left-hand side of the page, and now you can see my dinner balance at the top, and also the weeks that I'm able to book for dinners. If I wanted to book for the 8th of March, I'd just simply click on the drop down and I can see my days of the week. From there, I would just make my selections of what I want my child to eat each day. I then have the option to add these items to a basket. So the system on the parent side has now recorded what I want to order. To make sure that the school get this order, I would need to simply click make payment and pop in my card details. That would then give the school the information of what I've ordered for my child each day, and that would obviously put the information into your catering report. So I'm just going to pop back onto the school side and we'll have a little bit of a chat about how we actually manage our menus in the system. So go into the admin tab here, and if I scroll down to the bottom of the screen, you'll notice in your SchoolMoney system, you have a dinner items section. What this will do is display your menu that is available. As we can see, so what we looked at in the payments tab earlier, we have our available menus. So you can have up to 10 menus set up in the system. Obviously, these will match up with your weeks. What we've got here on menu 1, that would be your week 1. If you do have any items that are available on all menus, you simply select all, and then it doesn't matter what week you're on, those parents would be able to see those meal items. What you also have the option to do, if we look here, is set the days of the week that each item is available. So you've got your days of the week. By simply putting in a Y or an N, it will be telling your system what days of the week things are available. To add an item, I simply click add in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. From there, I can populate this sheet with item name, price, meal type. What you can also include is any allergen information. If a parent goes to order an item online and you have put allergen information into this section here, it will tell the parent the allergen information of that food item. What we can also do is populate the days of the week that this item is available. What menu is it available on? You also have the option to build in a specific staff or visitor menu. So if your staff have different items, but you still want them to order online, that is not a problem. You can populate the system with your staff items, and that would allow them to select any meals and pay. You've also got the option here to select meal colours, and we'll have a chat about that in a moment. So once we've created our items and click save, it would then add that to your list. What we also have as an option is to actually upload your menus by using a CSV. So if you have a set menu that you want to send into our support team, you just populate our CSV file that we would provide to you during training, and then that would populate this section here, removing the need for you to add individual items to the system. I'm just going to go back to our Cashless Catering tool, and we'll just have a little chat about how we manage the colour selections in the system. So if any schools use tokens, bands, or if you have a specific colour key that you use to show specific food items, for example, if your meat items are red and your vegetarian are green, we can actually accommodate for that in the SchoolMoney system. So at the bottom of the screen, what you'll notice is we've got a colour selection report. If we click here, we can see our year groups across the top and also our classes. This will help your kitchen staff with their meal distribution. At the moment, we've got a lot of schools that are managing this using an iPad. So it's easy to pull up as your children are going through the queue. We can see all of our pupils in the class alongside any dietary information. Once you have assigned your meal colours, the dots that you can see on this screen in grey would actually match the meal choices that have been made from home. For example, if Anna had ordered a meat option, she would have a red circle on this page. Once again, making it really quick and easy for your kitchen staff to see what children are going through and also what items they have selected. As you can see, it's really quick and easy to activate the pre-orders on your system, and it doesn't take a lot of time when managing in school. The idea of the pre-orders is to reduce the time that you spend counting cash and also managing your pre-orders. So that's everything for the webinar today. If anybody has any questions, please can you put them into the chat area and we will answer those shortly. Okay, so we have a question based around moving from doing manual dinner registers into pre-ordering. One thing that we advise to schools, if they do want to move from their current system, so managing the dinner registers by marking who's had a dinner each day and moving towards the pre-order system, what we generally recommend is sending out a notification to your parents first. So as you know, we have user guides for parents and we have a user guide that can explain the pre-orders. What we would suggest is sending that out to your parents and potentially starting the pre-orders around a half term or allowing the parents to do it in advance. For example, if we were going to start pre-ordering from the next term, so when we return, what I would suggest is getting pre-orders set up now and activated across the half term. That would allow your parents to log in and it would give them a bit of time to actually make those pre-orders. And then when you return after half term, what you would see is obviously your parents that have logged in and they have made those orders from home. Thank you for that question. Does anybody else have any others? So we have another question that's came in. So will we be able to see the pre-orders only if parents will pay for the meals in advance? Yes, that is correct. So any pre-orders that are done from home will have to be paid for in advance for you to be able to see that in school. If you do have pupils that are free school meals or universal infant free, they can log into the system and make meal choices without payment. So that is the only time that a parent can actually make an order without making a payment. Okay, so we have another question. How easy is it to make menu changes? Okay, so it's really simple to make menu changes on the system. You can either, as I mentioned, we have that CSV that we can send out to schools where you can actually populate that with your menu. To make changes, you can either make a change on your CSV, pop that over to our really helpful support team, and they can upload that for you. Or, as I showed you earlier, in the dinner items section of the system, you can go in at any point and add or remove an item. So if you do have things like theme days, or if you want to sort of add in your Christmas meal orders, then that's not a problem. You can make those changes really easily on the system. Okay, so we have a question about staff pre-orders. Can staff pay different amounts for meal items? Yes, they can. So when creating your menus, you have the option to actually put different costs for any items that are available to just staff or visitors. What that means is if you do have a special staff menu, then your staff members can actually log in, book the staff items and pay individual amounts. Okay, so another question. Can you block parents from ordering at a certain time of the day or during the week? So the way SchoolMoney allows parents to pre-order is it gives the parents the option to order up until midnight the day before. So if I wanted to order a meal for tomorrow, I would have to have logged in by midnight tonight to pre-order that meal. If you would like parents to pre-book in advance and you do have a cut-off time, you can actually make weeks offline in the system, which means that the parents cannot see them. So what I would recommend is if you do have a cut-off, or if you do have the option, if you do sort of want your kitchen staff to be able to run the dinner numbers in advance, you would allow any bookings being made for this week to actually be your bookings for next week. That would just give you plenty of time to run those dinner numbers. Obviously, you still can go in if there's an emergency meal that needs to be ordered, you can also add that in, but it just gives you a better indication of the meals that have been ordered in advance. So we have another question based around trips and holidays. So what you can do in the system using your dinner register is actually block out days that you do not want your parents to book for. For example, if you have a trip or an inset day, you can allow parents to book for the days that are open, for example, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then from there, you can actually block out the Friday, which would stop your parents from making an order on that day. So we have another question coming in. How do parents pay for meals if they are not using the pre-booking system, i.e. dinner top-up, credit, or pay for them in arrears? Okay, so as you know, SchoolMoney is a very flexible system. So alongside the pre-booking, we also have a dinner top-up method. That would allow your parents to go into credit. So they can log into the system and they can top up. And then from there, if you did want to make the meal selections in the classroom, it would allow you to make those selections and it would reduce the daily rate away from what the parents have topped up. We recommend as a system to only use one method. So if you want to use the top up, then you would obviously just use your dinner registers. But if you do want the pre-booking, then that is a pre-book and pre-pay system. Okay, so we have another question here. So what if a parent has booked a meal and the child is ill? Will they be refunded? The way the SchoolMoney balance works is it is a rolling credit. So if you do have a pupil that is unwell and you do have to remove a booking from the system, all you would simply do is cancel the meal item in the dinner register. And then from there, the credit would be applied to the parent's account, which means the next time the parent logs in to book a meal, they would not be charged as they would have credit. Okay, another question. Can parents that use Paypoint still pre-book? Good question. Yes, so if you do have any parents that are using our Paypoint facility, for those of you who don't know what Paypoint is, so if you've ever noticed you have a purple and yellow PP symbol at the post office or the supermarket, that means that that place will accept Paypoint payments. So through SchoolMoney, your parents can actually take a Paypoint slip to the local shop and pay for dinners, trips, and clubs. Any parents that are using Paypoint to pay for meals would simply go to the local shop, scan their barcode, which would top up their account. From there, the parents can either log in online or log into the app, and they would be able to use the money that they've topped up via Paypoint to actually pre-book their meal items. Just bear with me 1 second. We've got another question coming in. Okay, so we've got a question based around the different access that people can have. Obviously, a lot of schools are moving towards the pre-booking system because they might have an external caterer or a catering company that do want to run the dinner numbers. If this is the case, what we can do is set your caterer up with their own individual login. So that would allow them to have access to just the dinner side of things, where they can only see either the catering till or the dinner register. And then from there, they would be able to run their own catering report to access their dinner numbers. Okay, we've still got time for another question. Can we set up for our kitchen staff just to have access to the reports to show what meals are needed for the day? Yes, exactly right. So that goes alongside what we've just mentioned with login access. So along with your kitchen staff being able to run their dinner numbers in the Cashless Catering tool, what we could also do is give them access to a selection of dinner reports, such as your dinner arrears, or a report which would allow you to run your dinner numbers each day so you know how many paid, how many free, and how many universal infant. We have another question, bear with me. Okay, so if a child leaves the school and they have credit on their account, how is that refunded? What you can do in our SchoolMoney cashier tab is simply make a refund back to a parent in the same method of payment. So if a parent has logged in and paid by card, then you would have the ability to refund that money back to the parent's card as long as they haven't changed their card. And you also have the funds available in your SchoolMoney system. All you would simply do is go to your cashier tab, select the paid item, and select make a refund. If the parent has paid by cash or cheque, then you would have to refund in the same method of payment. So either by giving the parents cash or giving them a cheque from school. If any schools do need assistance with refunds, then you can either check our user guides or you can ask our support team and they would be happy to go through the refund methods with you. Okay, so it seems that everybody has asked all the questions that they have. So I'd just like to thank everybody for attending the webinar. If anybody does have any further questions, then please feel free to contact our support team and we'd be happy to go through any questions regarding our Cashless Catering tool. So thank you very much for your time. Goodbye, everybody.